Alright, we're going to do some Badlands today. We're going to run through the whole thing here as quickly as I can. First thing you're going to want to do when you get to Badlands is save and load your game. That's going to be able to spawn the Sanchez here that you'll take when you trigger this mission. Badlands is mostly just getting around. Driving routes, busted warps, death warps. The meat of Badlands is the Catalina missions, which are kind of fun. But then it wraps up with two pretty long races across the countryside, which can be cool, but also treacherous. Speaking of treacherous, we're going to be climbing this mountain here. Be sure to take note of all driving routes, as I've said before. They are pretty important, especially with things such as the actual mission Badlands, in which you scale a mountain. It's pretty helpful to know just exactly how to get up here in the fastest way possible. So Crash wants us to kill this guy and take a photo of his body. So, quickest way to do that, run over these guys, take their gun, and shoot them in the head. Pull out your camera, take the photo, and then head back to the drop. There are a couple different ways to get down the mountain. Some appear to be faster than others. I don't really know what is the fastest way down, but I know what feels like the safest way down is what I'm going to do here. Just, there's a little gap in the fencing there, in the railing, and you can just slide right down and then jump off the mountain from here. And you should have no issue. Be sure to dodge and weave all the traffic that comes your way, because as I've said before, your driving skills will be tested here. On-road and off-road. You'll be kissing both the tarmac and the dirt. So here we go. I like to just bail into that marker and grab the other Sanchez. And then we're going to do our first busted warp. We are going to get busted by the police intentionally in a specific spot, and that'll get us to Dillamore quicker than just driving. So we're going to cut across the countryside here, take this bridge. Be sure not to fall in the water, as I have done a couple times. Right through the thickets of the Bacco beyond, and then take a left at this turn coming up here. And when you get to the bridge, when you get about halfway across the bridge, is when you're going to want to start looking for a cop. And when you do come across one, just ram into his vehicle and bail off at the same time. You're going to want to get that wanted star. And then the fastest way to do it, the fastest way to get arrested, as you will see here shortly, there's a cop right there. I just ram into his rear end, and then I get into his car on the driver's side door. I hold forwards and backwards at the same time, and also sprint. So that way I just do a burnout and I don't close my door. That will usually convince a cop to bust you very quickly. Take a phone call after you arrive in Dillamore and pick up a vehicle. Doesn't really matter which vehicle you get, just something that Catalina can easily get into or onto if it's a bike.
Ladies don't drive themselves, that's what men are for.
And what you'll often see people do here is they'll run over a cop or look for a gun. I consider that obsolete at this point. I don't really bother. What I do instead, the whole point of getting the gun from a police officer is so that you can blow up a gas tank on a vehicle later on, after this mission. But instead of blowing myself up, I just fall from a height. And that is a much safer and less RNG heavy way of doing it, since you don't rely on finding a gun. So, Tanker Commander, I just sat outside the marker there until the mission started. Then I hooked up the rig to its cargo. Be sure not to run Catalina over when doing that. And then skip that cutscene.
Oh my God,
I just
I'm gonna
spam
die.
a lot with sprint. Pretty consistent. And then drive off. Sometimes the guy can be pretty annoying, but you can drive to like the left side of the road or the right side of the road to try and get him to slide down the hill or ram into trees or cliffs or anything of the sort.
Pull alongside.
He was pretty kind to
Got a
me.
vehicle
He's not really
across us.
around here right now. What I like to do when driving this thing, it can be quite tricky. What I do is I make sure not to turn whatsoever when I'm driving on grass, otherwise the cargo in the back there will get really out of hand. And if you detach your trailer during this mission, then you fail. So you gotta be careful with driving here. Skip the cutscene after arriving. Mission passed. Find a car. Something a little speedy. We're gonna drive across this field here. First, we're gonna spin out, apparently. We're going to drive over to this road, a certain area on the cliff that is very easy to run up, because we want to get as high as we can, as quick as we can, in order to quickly run off the cliff and drop CJ's health to 0 and get wasted. So here we go. I get out of my car, answer a phone call. And then I bail off to the right there of that cliff. Be sure to bail off to the right. Don't jump forwards, because you're actually very, very close to the Los Santos hospital zone there, and that's pretty annoying. You don't want to get warped to Los Santos. You want to get warped back to Angel Pine. So look for a car here while taking a phone call. If you can't find a bike, bike is really, really, really important for this drive. You gotta have one. Usually there's a bike here. If not, there's a bike back at the base of Mount Chiliad, where one of the BMX races ends. That little area. There is a Sanchez by the trailer. So be sure to grab that if you can't find anything else. Angel, Wayfarer, or Sanchez all work just fine. I like the Wayfarer because it's pretty speedy, and also... Jeez, my driving today is not that great. Oh, that's the second mistake I've seen in 7.5 minutes. Please get it together, Ben. Anyway, Wayfarer's enter and exit vehicle animation is pretty speedy as opposed to the Angel. So that's why I like the Wayfarer. It's a very silly reason to prefer one bike over the other, but this is speedrunning. So this is why we want a bike here, so we can scale that cliff very quickly. And then cruise on into this marker. We're going to steal the combine harvester back there. Skip that cutscene. Run over this guy on the left. You're going to have to do that. You're going to want his rifle. You will be death warping as soon as this mission ends. So we're going to use his rifle to blow up a gas tank.
It's all he's good for.
Go ahead, slam into this wall. You should fall right over. Try to get shot, or just hope you get shot, rather. Because getting shot makes the death warp a lot easier. When you explode a vehicle next to yourself with full health, you don't die. You have to rely on the vehicle to spawn some fire that you can then walk into and lose the rest of your health that way. So reducing your health enough so that the explosion kills you is pretty good. Nothing really interesting going on here. Just to steal the combine harvester, make your way out. Try not to hit any tractors, they can be kind of annoying. This is a safe drop here to get back to the barn as quickly as you can. I kind of goofed it a little bit there. But if you do it right, you can land on that hill with a lot of speed facing the right direction. And you can just carry that speed all the way across this flat land into the barn, and it's pretty sick. But I just had to mosey on in. Can't skip this cutscene.
Thank you, friend. I'll call you when the whoop-de-doo is ready.
Good old
Just make sure
rockstar
you get that cash.
consistency with which cutscenes you can skip and which ones you cannot. That phone automatically rings. Go ahead and skip it. As soon as you hang up the phone, the mission is passed. Blow up the BF injection. The gas tank is on the front there. And then you're back in Angel Pine. The ambulance is a consistent vehicle to get if you don't want to chance it with the road. I kind of got stuck on the trailer handrail there. That was a little annoying.
Your mama must be proud of you.
And this is really bad driving. Optimally, you would bail next to the trailer here and just walk into the marker. But that's okay. Walk into the marker and then skip the cutscene. That's just a cutscene mission there. Nothing going on. Just phone will automatically ring. Hang it up. So then get on the bike and do this same route again. We're going to Busted Warp for the second time to Dillamore. And that will conclude all the fancy warping around strats. The Death Warps, the Busted Warps. There will be no more of that happening for the rest of Badlands. And actually, for the rest of the run, I don't think there's any Death Warps. There are certainly not any Busted Warps. So yeah, as I've said before, just driving around for most of Badlands. We're about to start the bulk of the Catalina missions. We've already done one with Tanker Commander, but then we've got the next 3. And there we go. That's not a bad cop spawn. Not bad at all. We'll certainly take it. It's always a pain when a cop refuses to spawn on this road, but it's pretty consistent. So there we go. Back into Dillamore. Take a vehicle. No phone calls to answer. This time around, just get a vehicle and drive to Catalina's, the pink C on your minimap. Feel free to cut some corners here. Be sure to watch out for rocks in the grass. Specifically around this area, you can see there are little rocks in the grass here that if you hit, they will not make you a happy camper. They can cause pretty strange things to happen. You can even flip if you hit one hard enough and in the right angle. So just go ahead, park next to the marker, get out, and then get into Catalina's Buffalo. This car is really good. It is kind of flip prone, but I've rarely had an instance where I end up on my roof. Usually it just flips back over one way or the other. Small Town Bank is where we're going first. That's going to be the one to the east here. Watch out for your traffic. Be sure to despawn. I don't know why I wasn't. I guess I was certain that I would not have an issue, but then I did. That's the 3rd traffic incident. Sorry, the 4th one if we count that ambulance mishap. I'm just counting my mistakes over here. Pull up into the marker, skip the cutscene, and then immediately shoot the security guard and take his gun, take his pistol. Find yourself up here with the ATM machine on the right. Shoot each one of them twice and pick up the cash. Then shoot the door out. And start headshotting cops. Their spawns are random as to which cops will spawn and which ones do not. Just be sure to headshot all of the ones that you see. And then this alleyway here on the right is where you're going to run. And you're going to walk into ammunition. So, some people buy a rifle, some people buy an SMG, some people buy a rifle and an SMG, which that's really expensive. I just buy a rifle and armor. Rifle is really good. And we're going to use it on the next mission. I do not opt for the SMG, which is also something that some people use on the next mission. But we're going to go for the snipes on local liquor store. So just leave the ammunition, run around the block. Make sure Catalina is waiting on you. If she is not, see what is holding her up. Maybe she's still shooting a cop. And then you get that little cutscene where cops arrive on bikes. Shoot both of those guys, and then just take this driving route here. You don't have to follow Catalina. I would recommend you don't, because she goes over a jump. And it causes slow-mo. And slow-mo is not fast. It is actually the opposite. And then just wait here for her. She'll crash into a cop car, bail off her bike. Just pick her up like the damsel in distress that she is, and head back to Fern Ridge.
We sleep with men, we're sluts. If we don't put out, we're frigid bitches.
Who you calling little men? You went
And then you can skip the cutscene. Just tap your sprint key. And drive forwards a little to make sure that when you start this next mission, your cop bike doesn't despawn. You're going to use that
different
on this mission here, local liquor store. That's going to be straight ahead. This drive can be tricky because there's a lot of hills and you're on a bike.
No, I didn't say that.
So there is always the potential to spin out and fall off. I just like to take it safe. Go slow a little bit. And then I fall off anyways because of a friendly neighborhood Walton decided to crash into me. The driving here is not very lucky today. So local liquor store, skip the cutscene, get off the ATV, get on the bike, pick up Catalina, and we're going to do the snipes. Break this fence, drive forward a little bit, pull out your rifle, and aim for these rednecks. Now, a good thing to note in San Andreas, there is bullet time travel. This is not hit scan, so leading your shots a little bit does help. Aiming for heads also does help, but it's pretty hard to hit their heads. But if you want to go for it, do it anyway. I was lucky to get all three. Sometimes one or two can get away, or sometimes all three if you're really unlucky. And that is why some people buy the SMG, to be able to chase them down. Instead of relying on Catalina to shoot. But if you miss one or two, that's okay. Just get on your bike and chase them down, pick up the briefcases, and then make your way over the hill back to Fern Ridge. Obviously, a little harder than it looks. So be sure to practice those shots if you are going for them. Then just get off your bike, enter the marker, and take the Buffalo again. You don't need the cop bike anymore. The Buffalo will work just fine. This is the last Catalina mission. We're going to rob a betting shop, and this is where you get the satchels. Satchels are really, really important in this run. So we are going to hold on to as many as we can. For as long as we can. Can't skip this cutscene. But as soon as it ends, I'm going to stand up against the door and throw a satchel. Then I'm going to back up a little bit, throw another satchel, and then I'm going to run away into the corner and blow up the satchels. So that one went through the door. This one will land on the door. I'm going to run away. And if you do it fast enough, you can skip the Catalina line where she tells you to stop playing with your gonads and hurry up. Can't skip this cutscene. This is where I grab the satchels. You could also do this before going inside the betting shop if that's your desire, but they're right down this alleyway. Be sure to pick them up, and you should have 23 satchels. And we'll be good to go. Gonna hold on to those for a while now. Actually gonna use them on the last mission. Are you going to San Fierro? Gonna use a fair bit of satchels. When driving away, be sure not to hit any cops or commit any crimes. And your wanted level should drop to 3. If it doesn't, then you're going to have to play this a little differently. And I'll explain that here. We're going to pick up 2 wanted bribes to get rid of our wanted level here. This bribe will drop it to 2. Then the next one will drop it to 1. If you still had 4 wanted stars from picking that one up, it'll drop you to 3. And then wait before picking this one up for your wanted level to drop to 2. And then drive over it. That's only if you hit a cop or something when trying to leave. Then this last star will expire naturally before you arrive at Fern Ridge. So there you go.
To impress me, Carl Johnson.
The next 2 missions
Big man.
are kind of boring. It's literally just racing. So we're going to take this buffalo, drive off, and head down to where Woozy Moo starts. The marker is not on our map right now because we haven't taken the phone call. But we will here. Just pull up to this area, stop right around here. Tab to answer your phone, hang up, and start the mission. The first little bit of this race is pretty treacherous because you're right next to water. So play it safe. Do not end up in the water. That will cost you so much time and it'll be so annoying. So nothing too fancy. As always, I like to get ahead of the AI as quickly as I can. So that way they don't give me any headaches. Buffalo can be kind of treacherous to drive at times because, like I said, it likes to end up on 2 wheels or even flip over sometimes. So be sure to keep that in mind when driving the buffalo. This farm area here, I've seen a couple different routes through this area. This is the one I like to take. Just right between those 2 barns. And then handbrake, left turn around the fence. The weather here, the weather in this run kind of sucks. If you're playing a full San Andreas any % run, your time of day and weather will probably be vastly different than this. Usually it's sunny and during the day for this mission, but because I'm playing from a save file, the time has kind of gotten misaligned. And it's at night with really god-awful fog. So don't be surprised if you're doing your own runs and it looks a little different here. But yeah, this is... I mean, there's really not much to say. Hit the checkpoints, avoid the traffic, don't drown, don't flip. Go fast. It kind of makes the last leg of Badlands a little calming, actually. It's past local liquor store, it's past Body Harvest and Tanker Commander, all missions where I sometimes just lose time for no reason. When you finish that mission, if you park in the same area I was and don't get out of your car, you can probably just spam space until you're put into the ZR here. Immediately triggering the next mission. And then we're doing the same thing, but this time in reverse. And in this time in a sports car, driving through the countryside. Again, there's not much to say, but more of the same. This time, the treacherous leg of the drive is near the end when you're next to all that water. Do not end up in the water. You will sink, and you will be sad. Most of this drive is done on these dirt roads here, but there are occasions where you can run into traffic, on the tarmac. Be careful around this area. You can flip if you're going too fast. Like, see, I got a little bit of air there on my rear end. Same path through here, just in the opposite direction. It is fun, though. In some way. It's very satisfying when you get a good drive on these missions. If you don't have any collisions. If you have some sick handbrake turns, it is pretty satisfying to pull off. And then here we go, the last leg of the second race here. Do not sink. It can also be kind of annoying when driving across roads like this. The intersections, sometimes I've just had 18-wheelers in my way. It's the kind of thing that you can't avoid. And it's pretty annoying. So there you go. You finish the race. Doesn't matter where you drive here, because you're going to be teleported after the fade out anyway, back to the finish line. And then this drive, this long drive to the final mission of Badlands. Are you going to San Fierro? Take a left immediately heading out of the race compound, if you will. And keep straight. You're going to want to take your second left. We've already passed the first left. Despawning traffic here is really good. So this is the second left. I like to cut across that grass. And then after this intersection, after these two intersections rather, I like to drive down into this little valley here and cut across the grass to this next road. And then an immediate right. Continuing to despawn traffic. Gotta be careful. I've had some instances where I do get hit by a car and the wreck ends with me being stuck in the grass somewhere. And it's pretty annoying, because it makes it very difficult to get back to the road. And then drive off straight ahead onto this dirt road. You might recognize this area. This is the Truth's Farm from Body Harvest. Head down this cliff and bail out of your car. Be careful if you're nervous about running yourself over the way I have done 3,000 times there. Just bring your car to a stop before you get out. It's fine. You don't want to end up dead because your car slams into you once you get out of it. But anyway, here we go. Are you going to San Fierro? The satchel strat is pretty good. I like to run all the way to the far end of the farm and then start placing these satchels. The technique is pretty easy. You stand at where the bushes begin, and then you just tap your mouse button to drop a satchel, and then you run up to it and then jump. And that'll give you enough distance between satchels that you should not miss any bushes. But be sure to keep an eye on your minimap to see if you do miss any. There'll be red little dots on the radar. And then run to the Truth's mothership and shoot down this helicopter. Try to get it with the first shot. It took me 3 shots. The first one missed. I completely whiffed. The second one hit the tail, and then it did not explode, so I had to apply a third rocket onto the helicopter. Then go ahead and get in the Truth's mothership, turn around, and drive into his fence and head down this hill.
Shit, I better call Caesar.
Enjoy the lovely dialogue here. It's pretty fun to listen to. Cruise on over through these trees and head up onto this road. And we're already going to be right next to San Fierro.
Hey, you want to hit on this? A little temple chairs and a cocktail with some Nepalese munga munga.
Put that thing out, man. I can't see.
This jump down can be kind of annoying sometimes. I spun out there, but I was right side up. You cannot flip over in this vehicle, even if you end up on your roof. It'll flip itself back over for you, so that's pretty cool.
Sorry, man. I just don't drive when I'm faded.
Then just drive under the highway as such. Make a left when you pass this highway ramp. Cut across the railroad tracks here.
There ain't a better place to escape the man.
And up this hill.
Mr. San Fierro, where's the spot at?
It's in Doherty, on the east side of Fierro. Between
And then it's
Garcia
just
and
a
Pacific
straight
City.
shot from here to the garage. And you will be in San Fierro.
Man,
Excellent. Well done. Give yourself a round of applause.
like you've been fed a bummer.
Very proud of you. The next section of the run, San Fierro, I will be covering the fastest route with all the duping and phone call holding. So be sure to look forward to that. Thank you for watching. Good job on making it out of San Fierro. Again, pat on the back for that one. Thanks again for hanging out, and I'll see you next time in San Fierro.